Hello guys, this is me, Mighty the Armadillo here, and I'm the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here, and welcome back for more of the Maxi Toys videos. Isn't that right, Mighty? Yes indeed. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D World, plus Bowser's Fury for the Nintendo Switch. So last time, we actually did manage to accomplish the first world in the Super Mario 3D World portion of the game, and now we're going to be able to move on to the second world in the game, which is of course World 2. Now before we get into this though, Ray, we need to hop over to the forms of the Sprigsty tent right there, and because of that, we need to obtain one of those stamps. Oh, so I see. So basically, every time you complete one of those worlds, then you do realize you are able to enter in this Sprigsty tent, or the Sprigsty house, in order to able to actually get one of those stamps in particular. Yeah, like for instance, for example, that we've managed to obtain one of those stamps based off from the Spriggly Princess from the likes of World 1, in this case the green color. So in this case though, that the more you progress for the worlds, then you would able to actually get different color variations of certain Spriggly Princesses after all. Yeah, exactly, Ray. So either way though, so yeah, let's get to it with the forms of World 2-1, which is Condor Canyon. I think that's what the level itself is called anyway, even though it has been about 2 days since we actually last touched this game, because as you guys should probably already know, that Sonic, he's pretty much going to be working on Donkey Kong Country 3 recently. So because of that though, yeah, we can expect we can able to actually conclude the rest of the trilogies of certain games and what have you before we move on to the, well, the rebooted series or anything else to be more specific. But mind you though, it's the fact that Maxi has already finished up with his Let's Play of Pac-Man World 3, so that pretty much concludes the rest of the entire trilogy of the Pac-Man World games, even though, mind you, the Ghostly Adventures 1 and 2 does not count because obviously they are kind of similar to Pac-Man World 1, 2, and 3, but with a rubbish redesign. So because of that, I'm still not a big fan of it. Tell me about it though, Mighties, because, well, we're pretty much used to with the actual, you know what I mean, with the old school Pac-Man design, because it's like super iconic and everything else like that, which is probably true, because that's the reason why how Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate managed able to use the Pac-Man's old design. So at least it makes it a little bit more perfect sense, because obviously we don't let that, you know, that crappy reboot, you know, with the Ghostly Adventures and everything, just managed able to mess everything up. Although it technically did, for the sake of the forms of, well, Pac-Man Party for the Wii, / the 3DS as well. So because of that though, I'm also able to get ourselves Combuster, so... And as you can see, we're actually going to be playing as Princess Peach again, so because of that though, we're about to be able to... Oh, goodness gracious! Okay, there we go. That was a bit too close, don't you think? Well, yes indeed, Ray, my brother, because, well, obviously that, well, sometimes that, you know, most of these other levels can get a bit slightly tricky, well, whenever we get into later on anyway, but, I'm sure enough we'll get used to it, so... And the stamp for this level is that Mario actually jumping, so because of that, yeah, that's pretty much how I can usually summarize this stage, so... And yeah, as far as I'm aware, that since that, you know, every single character just runs a bit more faster than the forms of how it does it on... Oh yeah, I forgot about the amiibo support. It only happens if you manage able to actually... Well, you can able to actually use it on any other amiibos, ranging from the Super Mario lineup, and especially noticeable with some cat variations of both Mario and Peach, which I'll talk more about it until then. So here we go, on to World 2-2, in this case Puff Bruff Peaks, and as you can see, that the main differences between the Wii U version of the game compared to the Switch version is that, well, if you ever play this on handheld mode, you're still able to actually access to the forms of the touchscreen. However, if you try to play this on TV mode, as you can see, we got ourselves our familiar cursor, which, if you remember from the likes of the Switch version of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, for those of you who want to see our Let's Play of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, then by all means I'll put in a, well, if you follow me on the if you follow us on our channel, then you probably know what I'm usually trying to say about this here. So basically, you get yourselves a pointer, very similar to Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on the Switch version, except now that it now actually have ourselves a familiar icon based off from what coders are using, because unlike in Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, all he gets is basically it's like a blue ring cursor, and that's pretty much about it. And also, much like the forms of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, and especially noticeable with Super Mario Galaxy on the 3D All-Stars compilation, basically you can able to actually just to reset the gyro sensor, and of course there's no mic platforms as you see. So, predictably speaking, is the fact that, well, yeah, this level is pretty much kind of the same, except they actually changed a lot of things. So, which I first thought that back in Juni forms of 2019, that we're a bit skeptical when it comes to forms of likely, actually that was back in 2018 actually. That is that something to do with the fact that we were expecting to believe that this will not be on the Switch, but it turns out it did, thanks to the forms of the Super Mario Bros. 35th Anniversary Nintendo Direct event, ever since about a year ago almost. And because of that though, thanks to the forms of the Switch port to Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, both on the Switch and the 3DS, well, to be more specifically for the Switch version, just because obviously that in addition to able to include you know, the same kind of stuff as the forms of the Wii U version has, but they do manage to able to replace the Super Mario 3D World levels into the Super Mario Odyssey levels, because obviously they're just trying to able to make some sort of a connection between. So, even though I have no idea why I say things weirdly enough, but it knows where it stands. So, anyway, let's just finish the level here. And yeah, that's all there is to say when it comes to this particular stage, as what Mighty has already mentioned about this earlier, because obviously that's, well, the cursor might be also pretty useful though, especially noticeable whenever you get into like certain situations, most notably if you're trying to able to stun enemies with, or especially noticeable until the next few levels later. Well, to be more specifically in World 6, for instance, that we got to use the actual pointer to able to actually solve as many stuff as you can, so. And I believe in order to able to activate the actual pointer is that you got to press the R button in order to able to like, get the actual, like, the pointer to show up, because, well, yeah, you probably get the idea. And also, very similar to the Wii U version of the game, the Toad Houses do make a return here, so nothing else different from there. So, and as well as from that though, is the fact that I suppose that Mighty has forgot to mention is that the UI itself is actually a lot different. Very similar to the forms of New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, where the UI design is actually slightly different. Well, I would say slightly different though. I mean, usually potentially speaking that the actual text font is actually a little bit smaller in comparison to the Wii U version of the game. And also, as you can tell, that there isn't any gamepad symbol this time around, because all it gets is basically it's like those different colored lights based off from the forms of, well, you probably know what I'm talking about. But anyways, let's move on to the next level, which is Shadow Play Alley. So because of that, and this stage will obviously make its return. Although one thing I should probably forgot to mention about during the course of, well, actually gonna think about it. Did someone manage to toggle through Captain Toad Treasure Tracker? I totally forgot. Because I know I haven't really joined into the Maxi Toys channel until in 2021, which is this year in particular, so specifically in March. Yeah, same here, Mighty, because obviously that we didn't exist in plush forms just yet, but it wasn't until, like, you know, at the beginning of 2020s and all that stuff, that we now finally exist. So anyway, so let's just go ahead and take care of these little pink little blocks, which thankfully you can either use the Piranha Plant parts, you can able to actually just let the Piranha Plant eat them, or you can able to actually make them go away with the forms of that special pointer. So because of that though, yeah, it's definitely a little bit more useful there. So because of that, yeah, I personally think I do like the actual pointer system a bit more than the forms of how it does it on the Wii U gamepad. Well, don't get me wrong, it is a unique idea back in the day in 2013, but it might be pretty hard to get back into it though, just because of the forms of a lot of improvements of how this game actually has. So yeah, you probably get the gist of it. So anyway, let's just go ahead and finish the level like so. And by the way, how many 3D Mario games does it finally released on the Nintendo Switch, by the way, Mighty? It was actually, 5. 5, well, technically, 6 if you want to count the, Bowser's Fury as a new adventure. Oh, so that means it's like they've, the Switch, by that point, almost gotten every single 3D Mario games. Well, wait a second, is it 9 3D Mario adventures? Oh yeah, because I forgot about the Super Mario 64 DS by that point. But anyways, let's switch it to Mario, because if we get into the forms of really rolling hills, then you should notice that there's actually that character's specific switches that it does need to be only activated if you play a certain amount of characters. Like for instance, in this level in particular, that we have to acquire Mario in order to be able to get the stamp. And that can be also applies to other characters as well, during the course until later on throughout the majority of the game. So because of that though, no need to discuss. So even then though, because you've seen a Wii U version of this playthrough already, well, aside from the fact that I don't really care about it too much though, because I actually do enjoy New Super Mario Bros. U and Super Mario 3D World respectively on the Wii U, and we can replay the game again, but this time with a much more better quality than the forms of how it does it from the previous Let's Plays. So even though we might as well able to still keep those original Let's Plays for the time being, just for the sake of the forms of the amount of view content we're going to be getting, and also that basically that we might as well able to actually play quite a larger amount of Nintendo Switch games that we constantly play. Even though, mind you, there are a few exceptions, mind you, such as, for instance, we have not touched upon, let's just say, I don't know about you, Mario Tennis Aces, or, Mario Golf Super Rush, because, well, as far as I can tell, although usually for Mario Golf Super Rush, it does have a file selection screen, but on the, Adventure Golf mode, and, as for everything else though, like, well, let's just say, I'm trying to think here. I was gonna able to think about something I need to able to keep in track of. Nah, forget it. Forget what I just said, Ray. Nah, that's okay. Sometimes that our brains usually goes all like, you know, dizziness every once in a while, especially noticeable after like, you know, Sega almost abandoned us, you know, back in 1993. Yeah, I know that. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next level before we take on the enemy blockable levels. So here we go, on to Mystery House Melee. In this case, something more like a reference to Super Smash Bros. Melee, which, did that game came out in 2001? I'm just curious. Yes indeed, right? Because obviously that game has actually been more popular with the community, with Super Smash Bros. Community, and that's why they managed able to do the actual a lot of tournaments back in the day, which I found was pretty impressive for the time. Even though it's kind of sad that usually the tournaments themselves are actually cancelled now, which is kind of sucks, because of Nintendo's managed able to be gone like strict these days now. Especially noticeable that I felt so sorry for a lot of people about to be participating in for, you know, the upcoming tournaments for several Super Smash Bros. Games, ranging from, you know, Super Smash Bros. Melee for its fast, speedy gameplay, and also Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for its ultimate experience, all things considered. So, yeah, I just felt so sorry for them, so... Anyway, so now we're done with that, and now let's go ahead and take on the forms of this particular enemy blockable level, which is Big Glumba, you know, blockable level. So we have to take down three of these enemies here. So because of that, using a cat suit will be pretty much rock for the most part, because obviously we can take those guys down in no sweat. Especially for no sweat though, Mighty, that you notice about the fact that with the actual, like, you know, as I said before, that when every single characters do manage to able to just go ahead and run fast, this means completing these worlds will be a lot more quicker than the forms of how it does it on the Wii U version of the game, just because, well, sometimes you have to cope with the forms of the amount of loading screens and also that if you're trying to able to go ahead and do like some sort of like an auto-saving feature, but most of the time on the original Wii U version of the game, that's basically that it only just shows like saving and then save complete. It happens every single time whenever you complete the level, or if you're most able to get an item or a freebie item in the actual regular Toad houses and all that stuff. And it's also worth noting for this point, Ray, is the fact that one thing is actually pretty useful in this version compared to the Wii U version of the game, is the fact that this particular version does have a retry option, meaning about the fact that you can able to try again as many times as you want. So thankfully there's no need to worry about, you know, trying to able to exit out the game like, you know, on the Wii U version, like take Champions Road for example. That's basically, that is definitely one of the hardest 3D Mario levels ever made, especially noticeable for the true final level in the game. And because of that though, that if you have some struggles with the actual run for the first time, and then basically that you would able to actually select the retry option as many times as you want to able to go for that choice. Especially noticeable about the fact that, well, thankfully the loading times on the Switch version is actually a lot more faster than the original Wii U version of the game, so because of that, thankfully there's actually a quick access to that specific stuff. And it's also worth noting for is the fact that, as far as I'm aware, that if you every time you die in a level, I'm pretty darn sure that it might actually act out pretty similar to the ones in the forms of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on the Switch, and possibly the 3DS version as well, and maybe the Wii U version as well of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. That's basically if you die in a level, unlike the original Wii U version of the game in Super Mario 3D World, that's basically you're gonna have to re-grab all these collectibles again, ranging from, you know, green stars to stamps and all that stuff. Whilst this time around though, on the Switch version, everything else is saved for you. So because of that though, it's definitely a little bit more easier said than done. Especially noticeable whenever I've heard about when Sonic and Sylvester got frustrated with the actual, like, one of those levels in Wildflower, which, even though, no, technically we've already spoiled anything, just because if you've seen our Let's Play of the Wii U version of Super Mario 3D World, you guys should probably already know what I was gonna say. So even then, though, in one of those levels, that's, basically Sonic and Sylvester got frustrated with that level, with the actual spikes into it, with the actual spotlight and everything. That's, basically, that's, thankfully it's no longer an issue in this version, so... Anyway, so let's move on to the last level in World 2, within, like, almost 20 minutes tops. Well, I would say, well, you should say 21 minutes or something like that, so... Well, at least if you keep on breaking the fourth wall or something like that, which I don't know if that makes a little bit sense, but... Anyway, so basically, as you can see on this particular stage, is the fact that we can able to take a tour in the actual tanks themselves, specifically the Bowser tanks, ranging from, you know, a lot of, like, armies of bullet bills and piranha and you name the rest, so... I suppose that's another thing I should probably explain about this as well. That, basically, today's day is, of course, the 4th of August, if I recall correctly? Yeah, it's the 4th of August today, Ray, so because of that, not much else to talk about, aside from the fact that, oh no, I realized something, Mighty, bro. Oh, what's the matter, Ray? Is there anything bothering you? Until next Friday, it's gonna be unfortunate for us, because it's gonna be the unlucky 13th until, next Friday. Well, that's gonna suck. But, good news for us though. Oh, what is it then, Mighty? And that will have to be by the forms of how the fact that until at some point, in next Thursday, if possible, then we can probably take a holiday break. And because of that though, yeah, another holiday break for this point, guys, just to let you guys know of the actual specific updates coming up for it. Especially noticeable about the fact that, well, we don't need to worry about the this unlucky moment for the sake of this, you know, Friday the 13th kind of moment. So because of that, which specific stuff we're about to go to at some point? Well, I'll tell you exactly what it is though, Ray, and that will have to be the hotel. Oh, sweet! Does that mean it will contain a swimming pool, despite we have to able to obtain a lot of air bubbles to swim? Well, yeah, I'm afraid we have to able to still utilize the, well, if we managed able to obtain a bubble shield or something, then we could able to still live, so... Anyways though, so yeah, that should be exciting. Especially noticeable about the fact that, well, we can still able to actually upload this, and you, on the other hand, Mighty, will still need to get back onto Mario Party 5. And I believe you're still able to work on the extra stuff of Mario Party 5 before we move on to Mario Party 6. Well, I'll let some toys can able to take over Mario Party 6, so... Anyway, so as you can see, we take down Boom Boom pretty easy and not too much of a challenge. Especially noticeable, it really helps that we didn't lose a single life just yet. Well, it wasn't until later on, though, that we will lose some lives occasionally, so... Yeah, anyway, let's just go ahead and finish World 2 by just get ourselves a good running start and able to obtain an extra 1-up if you carried the actual cannon box, if you managed able to finish the level, that is. And we finished World 2 within like 20 minutes or more. So, yeah, all things goes all pretty fast, don't you think? Yeah, I think you already explained about that since, you know, whenever we begin with this particular level. So, yeah, that's as far as I can say about it. It looks like that particular Sprickly Princess is about to able to fix the actual clear pipe that we can able to go into the next world, which is World 3. Yeah, that should be pretty surprising, so... Yeah, because, usually, relatively speaking, I'll talk more details about that. Whatever I said before about how many 3D Mario games they do have for the Switch. Well, as far as you already say, it's like almost like 9, so... Yeah, which I think I'll briefly mention more about it until the next video, because unfortunately we've almost run out of time, so yeah, it's probably best to end off here. So yeah, join us next time for more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, as now we're moving on to World 3. So we'll see you guys on Friday. Yep, later fellas.